Welcome to today's math lesson. Our TEK is 8.5a. Our lesson target is that scholars will represent linear proportional situations with graphs and equations in the form of y is equal to k times x. Our DOL is given 4 problems. Scholars will represent linear proportional situations with graphs and equations with 100% accuracy. This first I-Do reads, the graph shows a relationship between the weight of an object on the moon and the weight on Earth. Write an equation for this relationship. So our first step is to use the points on the graph to make a table. So if we look here, we can identify that our independent variable is the weight on Earth in pounds, and our dependent variable is the moon's weight in pounds. In tables that are horizontal or flat, the top row is always going to be the x values, and the bottom row is always going to be the y values. Okay, this first point right here is 6, 1. Since the y-axis is going by 1s and the x-axis is going by 3s. And then the second point right here is 12, 2. The third point is 18, 3. And then the last point is 30, 5. Our second step is to find the constant of proportionality. So we're using the equation k is equal to y over x So we just have to choose a pair of points or a coordinate pair. So let's choose the first one. We have 6, 1. Our y value is 1. Our x value is 6. So that makes our constant 1/6 or 1 over 6. We could have chosen any other points. We could have chosen 12, 2, 18, 3, 30, 5. Just to show that it's the same thing, I'm choosing a second point, 18, 3. Our y value is 3. Our x value is 18. If we simplify 3 over 18, we're going to see that it's actually equivalent to 1/6. And that's what makes the table or the relationship of this table proportional, because each pair has the same relationship. So all of the constants of each pair are the same. So if we simplify 3 over 18, we're listing out the factors of 3 and 18. So 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 3 is 18. And we're going to cross out the common factor. The common factor is that 3. So that means that 3 over 18 can be simplified to 1 over 6. Our last step is to write the equation. So if we know that our constant is 1 over 6, equations in proportional form are y is equal to k times x. So our equation is going to be y is equal to 1/6 x. This next we do problem looks very similar to the I do. For this we do problem, we're given a graph with 4 different proportional lines. And so first we have to find the constant of proportionality for line M, which is this point right here, or this line right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify some coordinates of line M. So this is a good point. This is not a good point since it's not at the intersection or where the gray lines on the graph meet. This is a good point right here. So this first coordinate is 1, 2. Since both the x and the y axis are counting by 1s, this next coordinate is 2, 4. Our constant of proportionality equation is k is equal to y over x. So if we're working with 1, 2, coordinates are always written as x, y. So our y value is 2. Our x value is 1. So 2 divided by 1 is 2. Just to make sure that that's our constant of proportionality, I chose the second point as a backup. So our y value for this 2, 4 is 4, and our x value is 2. So we have 4 over 2, which is the same thing as 4 divided by 2, and that's 2. So our constant of proportionality is 2, and that makes our equation for line M, y is equal to 2x. Now we have to find the constant of proportionality for line J, so it's this line right here. And so I'm going to choose 2 points again. So this first point is -1, 1. The second point is -2, 2. And so again, we're using the equation k is equal to y over x. Our y value for -1, 1 is +1. Our x value is -1. +1 divided by -1 is -1. Just to confirm that -1 is our constant of proportionality, I chose a backup point, which is -2, 2. We're using the same equation, y over x, so our y value is +2, our x value is -2. +2 divided by -2 is -1. And then our equation is going to be y is equal to -1x. Another way to write this equation is y is equal to -x. X and every other variable used in math, variables being letters used to represent numbers, have an invisible 1 in front of it. So sometimes you can write the 1, and then other times you don't have to. There are 2 poll questions. The first one is the constant of proportionality for line K positive or negative? The second one is the constant of proportionality for line N positive or negative? And then there is a you-do problem. And then there's another you-do problem. Given a graph, you have to write an equation for the proportional relationship. I'm going to include the PowerPoint or the link to the PowerPoint with all the solutions for the poll and the you-dos, as well as the we-dos. And lastly, students have to do a 4-question deal well on Google Forms. Thank you so much for following along in today's lesson, and see you in the next math video.